The beautiful painting was really about this experience that I had had with a very young boy in Tibet. And I had been there on a meditation retreat and visiting monasteries and hiking through the mountains there. And along the way, in many of the small villages, there are beggar children there. And so usually they're very cute and they're very precocious, and they'll run up to you, and even though there isn't a common language, like at least for me and the children, because I speak English and they speak Tibetan, you can communicate through smiles. And so a lot of these children were very sweet, very cute, and very energetic. And I was walking along and I noticed there was one boy who was also a beggar boy, and he was sitting on a rock, and he was very different from the rest of the children, and that he had clearly been in some type of explosion. His face had been, it looked like his face had been melted from an explosion, and there wasn't the same type of reconstructive surgery or medical care that we would expect, maybe in the United States. So his face really showed the wounds of what had happened to him. And I noticed that all the other people there were grouped with these other children that were cute and precocious, and this boy was sitting alone. And he had his hands out, but he was sitting alone, and I realized that it was because I think people were uncomfortable seeing him because of the wounds on his face. And I thought that this might be the case because I could feel it within myself. I could feel my discomfort, my desire to turn away, and realizing in that moment that that was the last thing that I should do. And I actually had walked past him at this point, and my heart was racing, and I felt like I just had to turn around. I had to turn around and go back, and I couldn't just walk by, and I couldn't turn away yet another time in my life. So I turned back, and at this point I'm holding up my entire group, but I felt so strongly I had to do it. And I went back to him, and I had no money to give him. And so I asked for someone in the group if I could borrow a little bit of Tibetan money to give to the boy. And so this person gave me some money, and I walked back to him, and I realized that the money was just an excuse. And that what I believed that this boy really wanted was for me to see him and to be willing to see him like any human being. And so I did. I used the money as an excuse to see him, to look at him, and to touch him. And it was amazing because in that moment, I remember putting the money in his hands and holding his hands in mine. And again, we didn't have a common language, but we just looked at each other for a very long time. And it was the most amazing experience in the world. I felt in that moment that something opened up within me, and I felt a complete connection with him. And then, strangely, a complete gratitude and appreciation for him, and that I could see him as being truly beautiful, and that he had expanded my vision and my idea and my concepts of what it meant to be beautiful. This boy sat there, and he wore the wounds on his face that we all carry within us, and we refuse to show, and we refuse to look at. And he was there showing it to all of us, so bravely and so openly. And I felt so graced and blessed to have spent that time with him. And I thought I was doing something for him, and yet really I feel like this boy and this time with him changed my life. It taught me what being truly beautiful is, and I will forever be grateful. And this painting is in honor of him.